What is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. Today we're going to talk about playing some rhythm, rock, lap steel in A minor. Obviously that's pretty specific, but you know, just bear with me. I'm going to do all the talking. If you want to get right into the playing, it starts here. I think we're putting it on this side. I don't know, new space, obviously, but I think it starts here. But hang with me for the talking part if you can, because I feel very important, and I have almost all this wisdom to share. So, first things first, the gear being used, I'm using an Apocalypse Machine lap steel. This is it's an ash body one. I kind of built it like a Telly, arcane pickups, and it's a Strat pickup in the neck. It's a 50 broadcaster and a 61 Strat pickup, maybe? I don't know. Going into an Espresso Effects Germanium Boost, which is like a treble booster, and then into my DCC Plexi today. Backing track, all of the diagrams, all that stuff is on Patreon. Please join me there. It's how I'm trying to fund these. We're going to see if that works out, if I can keep doing these. So please hang out. Let's talk a little bit about playing rhythm lap steel. It's easy, especially in minor, it's easy to get hung up on the idea that I can't play a full minor chord, right? A minor chord shape is here. I've just done a bunch of videos on it. If you want to go back and look, just there's minor chords and whatever. There's all types of stuff, but like chord shapes. This is a minor chord shape, and you obviously you can't play that straight across. It doesn't. It's got to be a right. It has to be. We have to move around. So that feels very restrictive, but it's not. Because when you think about your favorite rock songs, hopefully, or at least when I think about my favorite rock songs, I don't want to speak for you, but like it's a lot of riffs, right? And it's a lot of stuff. And even if I want to sit down and learn like a Jimi Hendrix machine gun, right? That that's not right at all. Right, that kind of riff, and then I typed in machine gun into Spotify, and Social D's Machine Gun Blues came up, and it's got this like riff on top, and I think I'm going double time there. But the idea is like this. There's so much stuff that I can just cop on lap steel, and if you just go and listen to the songs you love, and I would encourage you to do this. Don't wait for someone to be like, "This is how you play it." Go and listen to it and learn it by ear. It's so important. More than anything, and I'm gonna show you some stuff, but more than anything is just sitting down and learning by ear and developing this part of your instrument and this part of your instrument, because the reality is that learning the notes is the least important part of any of it. And you do need to know the notes. But knowing, oh, hitting hard there or hitting soft or rolling the volume back, like all these things to find your way around the notes, that's the most important part. Okay, we're going to be using the A minor scale, which is here, and again, it's in Patreon, blah, blah, blah. And this is the scale, and it's important to know these notes. But being able to find the stuff that we're doing by ear is also going to be helpful. So the scale's here. I don't do tabs for that reason. I want you to find the stuff by ear if you can. And I don't know. I'm going to get off my soapbox. But I'm going to tell you right now that I learned with tabs on guitar, and it was really, I think it stunted my growth as a player. And I'm 43 years old, and when people ask me how to learn to play, I tell them to sit down with the instrument and learn to play by ear, along with obviously getting some of these scale shapes and things. But learning by ear, because the scale part is the least important part. Okay. All right, so today's backing track. I have a riff. It was the opening jam. I have a riff that I wrote, and then it goes into some chords, and the track is just the bass and the drums, right? So, okay, that's mirroring the riff I'm doing. So let's look at the riff. The riff is based around A minor. Okay, we're covering a couple different things with this track. We're going to be covering not using open strings as the basis of our rhythm, being able to play in keys other than D when tuned to open D. We're going to be looking at obviously rocking, right? And then also outlining some chords and then creating some rhythmic ideas. Now, when I'm playing rhythm, the first most important thing is to lock into the groove. So before anything else, before I even start doing notes, let's do this. Let's start with this. I'm playing my A minor, but I'm only playing the A. I'm on the 7th fret, and I'm just playing my 6th string and my 4th string. And I might nip that 5, but really I'm playing the 1s here in this A minor shape on the 7th fret. And we're just gonna play the rhythm, okay? All right. And I could have gotten that bump, bump, bump at the end, but we're not there yet. But check it out. So my bar is really staying for the most part down. And I'm bouncing between these two strings, and my palm is muting. Right? So I'm just bouncing. I'm bouncing my palm on the strings. And then I'm picking where I want to pick. And it's constant the whole time. Let's go down to the 7, the flat 7. Open strings. Back to the 1. How about the 5 chord? Back to the 1. Okay, so right away, we're barely doing anything. But that idea of playing rhythm, I'm a drummer, I'm playing with my right hand, I'm just trying to keep that. It's all about that groove. It's all about just keeping that groove as steady as possible. And we'll see, going back on the recording, there's times I record stuff and just making sure that everything's recording right. Okay, it seems like it is. There's times where I record stuff and I go back and I listen and it's not even, and it just blows me. It just bums me out. So that brings me to another thing. Record yourself. Record yourself. Even if you're like, I'm not good, record yourself. Oh, I'm not, start doing it. Start trying to create a final product, because something that's going to happen if you do that is it takes away those places where you can have a mistake. The reason that we have the backing tracks the way that we do, they're a minute long. You can record yourself. They're bite-sized. You have to create a piece, and then you have to start over and create a piece. It's not just endless noodling. If you record yourself, now you actually have to go back and listen and see where the mistakes are, and then try to do it without making mistakes. One of the joys that I have when making the backing tracks is I play the drums on a little pad, right? And I don't cut in and out. I have to get the whole thing in one take. That's for me. That's for me to get better. When I play bass, I try not to cut. For the most part, I don't cut. Once with all this stuff, once in a while I cut something in, except for the leads. Same thing with the guitars. It's like everything I'm trying to do, the piano, I don't want to cut in. I want to try to get it in one take, and that makes me a better player. So, trying to approach this stuff like that, right? Record yourself, make a video, or just make an audio recording, then listen back. Where am I wrong? Where am I good and where am I bad? What do I need to improve upon? Is really helpful. So we have this thing. We're doing this bouncy thing. And then, so the riff is like this. It's and I'll link the video up here. It's one of these sides here. I don't know which one. I just did a whole thing on just doing minor 7th chord riffs, and it might be really similar to this. But the riff, right? So I'm doing my 1 and my 1, then flat 7 1, flat 3 1. Okay, 1 1 1. Is it 1 1 1? Yeah, okay. So, low string twice. Okay, low string twice in the 4th string. 4th string. 7 1 3 1. 7 1 3 1. And then at the end, I'm doing just my power chords, 7th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. And you'll notice the separation. Notice it's not... That's different than... Right? Ba, ba, ba. Like, let those first two hit. This is the key with rhythm guitar. This is the key. More than the notes. The key is playing each note with intention. How long is it supposed to be? I am a drummer right now. I'm playing drums right now. I'm just using my guitar. Right? So the whole riff. Let's slow it down. Now, again, you'll notice, slow it down. Don't do the part that you're having a hard time with slow, and then, right? Do the whole thing at the same tempo, and then eliminate the spaces. Right, you can put on a metronome if we want. Let's see, where's my metronome? That's at 70. Let's slow it down more. By the way, slower is harder with some of this stuff. So here's 60. And you'll notice a lot of the hits are not on downbeats either. So, start with it slow, speed it up. The track is at 97 beats a minute. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't have it in front of me, but 97, I'm pretty sure. So, speed it up. Start at 60 and speed it up. Start at 97, slow it down. Make sure you get it clear. But that's our riff. And then, let's start with just the riff. So this is the first half of the track. We're just doing that riff. This is an A minor chord. It's an A minor 7 chord, but it's an A minor chord with a little thing at the end. But we could do it just... Let's do that first. Let's do that before we do the riff. So I'm just doing that thing we just started with. Right? And then adding the A, G, A thing at the end. A minor, G, A. 1, flat 7, 1 at the end. get into the second half in a second. Now, oh my God, has it already been long enough where my computer's trying to go to sleep? That's crazy. Okay, so, it's taking way longer than I had hoped. Sorry. I'm trying to make them more succinct, but this is important. This is important stuff, so it is what it is. We're gonna go with it. Okay, so now, let's add the riff. Same thing, opening of the track, let's add the riff. Okay. A little bit too much gain for that first. The other thing is, if you watch the opening jam, and I'm going to do it again here, but if I just knock the volume back a little bit, especially using a treble booster, I get a pretty cool, like, kind of like less gainy sound, and then I can get bigger later. And this is another idea of playing rhythm guitars. If I start just I have nowhere to go. I have no way to get bigger. But if I start, now I have a way to get, right? That's the second half of the track. It gives me a chance to grow, to go somewhere. The idea of playing rhythm guitar, lead, anything, it's all about energy. And it's all about serving what's happening. So this is a thing that happens a lot, especially with amateur players, is not leaving enough space, not leaving, and I don't mean enough space like I can play a busy part. I could play a, right? But it would have to be in front of somebody who's playing something like, if somebody was playing that busy part, then I would want to play something sparse to accent that. The idea of like listening, using my ear and listening is the most important thing with rhythm guitar. And I'm on my high horse. I understand. I'm sorry. It's just, it is hard. It's not hard. Like, my life is pretty easy, right? We could live in way worse places. But a lot of times people ask me, what can I do to improve my playing? And I tell them, and they're like, no, just tell me the notes. And it's like, well, okay, that's not the way this works. So we have this riff. Let's go to the second half of the track. The second half of the track, let's see. Okay, I should have edited that in advance. So here it is, second half of the track. Battery's about to die. Cool. All right, second half of the track. It's a G, flat 7, and I'm just playing the power chord, right? If you look at the scale again, the power chord's there. I could even add the third. And then with my D chord, which is the open strings, if you look at the scale, the D chord does not have the third string in it. The D chord is minor. So up here at the 12th fret, you can see the minor third. But down here at the open strings, I don't have that third. So all I'm going to do is just rest my ring finger on the third string, and now I have a power chord all the way across. So let's do that. Okay, so on the A chord, it's the bottom 3 strings. On the G chord, it's the bottom 4 string. On my D chord, it's the bottom 3 and the top 2. And I'm muting here. Okay, so second half is G chord down to a D, and then back to the riff. Okay? Again, one more time. A lot of times people say, well, what's the rhythm? What rhythm should I be playing? I don't understand the strumming pattern. I am basing it off of what the kick and the snare are doing. What are the drums doing? If you listen, here it is. Okay, so we have that hit. We have this super common. And these are the tricks to rhythm guitar. If there's no drums, you get to define what the pattern is. Okay, the camera died while I was in mid-thought, but we're back, I think. This is the other thing. Again, please join me on Patreon, because I would love to have cameras that don't die in the middle of the filming. Anyway, so the second half, right, we're listening to the drums. We're listening to what's going on around us. If there's guitars in there and they're doing something, maybe it needs to be reinforced. Maybe it needs to be doubled. If there's guitars in there and they're doing something, maybe it doesn't need to be reinforced and maybe it doesn't need to be doubled. Maybe I need to do something else. A really cool thing is to have two guitars doing two different things in the smaller energy sections and then everybody playing the same thing in the bigger energy sections, and it kind of has this breathing push-pull thing. The reason I share this is as I get questions about like, how do I do this in a band setting? How do I do this? How do I play lap steel in my band setting? How do I play lap steel? I want to focus on rhythm. I want to focus on minor chords. Like, these are the things to be thinking about, not how do I play the chord. We can outline chord shapes, but like sitting down and looking, trying to figure out like a Hendrix song, but on lap steel, especially the ones that have the not the riffs. Right, having the John Fogerty, the Fortunate Son, that's not it. Oh, I do it. There it is. Trying to figure out how I did it, right? That's how I do that opening riff, because it's hard to do the slants in tune, and then also that's the regular slant to the reverse slant. Like, I don't have that dexterity, and I don't play like that. So, right? Being able to do that, and then what are the chords? I didn't even realize. Same chords. So, I think. Yeah, same chords. Not necessarily in this key. This is the point. And I'm going to leave all of this sort of sidetrack tangent stuff on here. If you don't like it, please put it in the comments. If you do like it, please put it in the comments, because I think these are the things, at least for me, these random thoughts that are coming to me as I'm sort of like giving you this stream of conscious lesson. These are the things, these little like, oh, do this, I do this because of this. Those are the things when I hang out with guys that I start to get ideas from. It's like, oh, that's great. That's a cool, that little thing you said, that was the thing that sparked this other thing, right? The idea is not for you to learn this riff that I've written today and recorded today and no one's ever heard of and probably will never hear again. That's not the point of this. The point is, like, how am I navigating this? Why am I playing this strumming pattern against these drums? The strumming pattern is already defined. Right? It's there. If I use my ears, I hear where it's at. I know exactly how to fill it in. And that's the whole point. And I can play against it too, but I need to be doing it intentionally. I need a little more ramp here. A little more ramp. Let's try it. You know, I could probably come up with something cooler if I sat and I worked on it a little bit, but the way that those drums are, especially because there's no guitars doing it, there's none of that stuff, to me, like, there's like only one way to play that. and that's just to reinforce. So we have this whole track. That's the whole point. We've got the whole track now. The track is kind of written. See, I should have edited all that in advance, but I didn't. So here we are. Okay, this track is really written as an exercise. I wrote that for this video, just trying to figure out how we're going to get into this. But you can see I'm using chord shapes, right, around my one chord. And I have the scale, and we can add fills, and we can do that stuff. And that's probably another video, because this is already super long. But you can see what I'm doing. I'm outlining the first chord. I can play my second chord here. Now the only note we're not playing is that 6. That's a minor 6. It's a flat 6. It's part of the A minor scale. It's an F. And that's the only chord that that's the only note that hasn't been showing up in any of the stuff so far. Your brain is filling it in because we're playing all these other notes. Your brain is used to hearing, do I even know how to play a minor scale? Right, your brain is used to hearing that. If I were to play that major 6 feels weird. Now that makes it Dorian. That's a whole other can of worms. There's ways to do that, but that's not what our brain is hearing. So I'm just playing a 5th chord, and our brain is filling in the note that is missing. That. And if I really want, okay, so here's another option. Just as we get towards the end of this video, is I could actually play that minor by playing my root and my 5th on the 6 and 5, and then I can play the minor 3rd on the 4, and mute. I'm still muting my 3rd string, and then right. Oh. I like it better as a 5 chord. I like it. It just sounds more rock and roll to me. It's just a much more open sound than to me. But you could do that. You can make it an add 2 chord. You can do all types of cool stuff with it. Let's make it an add 2. So an add 2 is a D and an A, and then instead of having the 3rd, not an add 2, a sus 2. Instead of having the 3rd, I'm suspending the 3rd and putting in a 2nd. That's also more rock and roll than just playing it minor. So now, the end of it. I don't like that. Never mind. Back to the original way we're doing it. Here's the track. One thing I know. Oh, listen, this is how we learn. This is how I sit down and figure stuff out. What sounds cool? What doesn't? Like, that's the way I work on this stuff. So, I would encourage you to do that too, is sit and try stuff and find the sounds that work for you. Okay, here's the track. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's all we're talking about. Now, we can apply this anywhere. We can apply this to any set of chords. We can apply this to major chords. We can apply it to minor chords. Hopefully you can see how I can take that rhythm, I could apply it to the... Right? I can do that. I can do it on the D. Can do it on the E. Make it major, so make it into a harmonic minor scale. 6. You can see how I can apply these ideas to other things. I can change my rhythm based on what's happening in the rhythm. I can change the notes I'm playing based on the notes that are being used. This is just a way to approach, here's a riff, here's some chords, here, let's rock. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it made sense. If you like this video, would you please drop it in the comments? If you want to support the channel, please join me on Patreon. Thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you soon.